kind of radiation, one that most likely exists in Rainer's lifetimes. Another leap, and Kevin's holding little baby Andrew, presumably for the first time.
So how does it feel to be a grandfather? A lot better than it does to have you for a son-in-law.
Yeah, that's a whole bushel of weird. Kev and Tom head to sick bay, where everything is explained again, that the chronoton radiation combined with Dr. Vanco's treatment is causing a quantum leap into her past. Don't worry if you missed this point. The episode will take numerous opportunities to tell you. As they gather in the magic meeting room to hash this out, Harry points out that to purge the radiation that's making her jump around like this would require knowledge of the torpedo that did this to her in the first place.
Is it possible, if this keeps happening to Kat, that she might actually jump back into a time before she knew any of us? Worse than that, Mr. Parrish. It's possible she may eventually jump back to a time before she even existed.
Oh, God, that would be... Huh? Never mind. Kat takes this time to talk to Linus about her baby, but she admits to being uncomfortable. Well, don't worry about it, Linus. Thanks to these shifts in time, you'll never have existed. Isn't that wonderful? Don't try to resist it. The Paris Torres shippers will not be denied, even if that's to kick your mom off the ship. Enjoy this existence while you still have it.
I may have found a way to prevent your next jump. I'm going to the containment field that may keep you here. It's going to require confinement in sick bay.
There's a 180 on the bedside manner issue. I'm confining you to sick bay for your own good. Doctor, don't be so cold. You're right. Guess what? You're confined to sick bay. Lucky you. Yes, a few square yards of space behind a force field. That's the only thing between you and certain doom while I clutch at straws for your very existence. Is that better? Tom tries filling her in on what's happened, but...
I think I may have found something.
What is it?
Well, I was studying the effects of the chronotons on other crew members, and
Uh-oh, but alarm means Kess is getting ready to jump again. Want to tell her your brilliant realization, Linus, just in case she shifts? No? Well, I guess wiping you from history is your own damn fault, then. Kess winds up in a shuttle, where she is now giving birth to Linus, with Tom there to help her. And why is she standing there? Well, if you remember Elogia, and I, of course, can understand if you've desperately tried not to, Ocampans have an evolutionary approach to reproduction that makes delivery by stork seem reasonable. Ocampan women have babies standing up from a sac located around their shoulder blades. This ensures that mothers in a situation where no one is there to assist them will then drop their newborn babies around 4 feet to the hard ground. Oops. That's the baby work because, you only get pregnant once. The more we learn about the Ocampans, the more likely it is they exist solely to be sex slaves for other races. They reach the appearance of full sexual maturity in less than a year, and they stay that way without appearing to age until the last 6 months of their lives. The chance of knocking one up accidentally is remote, and even if you do, there's a chance the mother's just going to drop the kid on its head during delivery and sort that out for you. It's like they were genetically engineered by some evil race. I told you were in no condition to come on a supply mission. Did you listen to me? Tom Harris, Mr. Sensitive Dale. And while we're at it, why do you put the toilet paper on the roller facing the wrong way? It's so frustrating! With encouragement like that, baby Linus is soon out, but they learn that Voyager's under attack by the Krenim. She tells Neelix, who passes it on to Tom and Chakotay, which is really rolling the dice until he can get the right message. Kess says she's from the future, and the only way to save her is for Harry to marry the baby. Right now. Something must be wrong with Kess. Well, let's not be too hasty, Tom. Let's just hear Kess out. With things the way they are, they don't have the resources to help Kess now, so she winds up leaving again, this time to the resort program. Kess is a bit shocked that Tom is all over Torres rather than her. Well, you can't fight the shippers, Kess. You just can't. Before she can try, the ship is attacked for the first time by the Krenim. One constant explosion takes out both Torres and Janeway, but they destroy the Krenim for now. Luckily for Kess, units report sickness from the radiation coming out of an unexploded torpedo, and she can now get the special reading she needs. Gee, I can't imagine how you got infected with radiation. As she passes out from exposure, she jumps back into Voyager's present. That is the time when the episode was fitted to the list. So it's off to the magic meeting room, again, to explain exactly what's going on, again. This time, though, the episode tries to pull a fast one on us. They say that because from her point of view, Kess has already been infected because she's moving back in time, she already has the chronotons in her right now. Except Kess has not been physically moving. That's been consistent. She's gotten younger, she's changed, she's become pregnant. The only thing moving is her mind into her past body. But if we remove that, we can't techno-babble a way out, and without that option, the crew is playing at a severe disadvantage. So we're just going to have to allow it to move on.
In about 6 months, you're going to enter a region of space controlled by a race called the Krenas. You must avoid them at all costs.
Kent, you should know just how important the Temporal Prime Directive is. A sacred law of the Federation to preserve the flow of time so no one can misuse it. I'm sorry, I thought I could get through that. Okay, 6 years in the future. I know by then I'll have conquered the Delta Quadrant, but I want to know about my great statue. The one of me standing on the skulls of my enemies. Is it actually made out of the skulls of my enemies? Because I always thought that would look cool. They stick Tess into another iron lung, and I think I might have ignored this earlier on purpose. They stick Tess's body temperature has slightly dropped to 14 degrees centigrade from its usual 16.3. But forget about the sex slave thing. That'd be like screwing a cadaver. Anyway, they get to work, but Ken still jumps back to when they first joined the Voyager crew, and then as a child playing with cabbages.
You're my father.
That's right. And you're my favorite daughter. Don't tell anyone. Screw you, old man. I know you only have one kid. Before she can explain, we skip back to a rather inconvenient time.
Water pot! Water pot! Listen to this, you're not listening!
Then it's back into 2001, and even further, oh dear. Oh, and then back the other way, until she's dumped into the iron lung again and stabilized. In so doing, she remembers all the events up to the present, but still has those memories of what they call a possible future, because Captain's actions will have changed history. For example, the fact that she's here will now cause the Borg to invade the domain of species 8472. I'm sure I don't have to connect the dots for you on how that happened. Moving on. But I must say, I hate this ending. Janeway tells Kes to write down what she remembers about the Krenar. So Kes runs off to do it right away, announcing cheesily that this has taught her there's no time like the present. Wah, wah, wah. Yep, nothing like knowledge of mortality and the fleeting nature of now to make you ditch a party so you can write reports. I suppose this is better than the alternative, which is contemplating what's actually happened here. The doctor attempts a medical procedure on Kes in hopes of extending her life by another year or so. That way she can have more time for her husband, her daughter, and her grandson, what she felt were the best years of her life. And instead winds up wiping all the people she loves more than anything from history, except one who will be driven into the arms of another woman. Thanks for the help, Dr. Van Gogh. Thanks to you, the best years of her life are then gone. Post-episode follow-up. Stupid Neelix's moment is his inability to count to 9 without screwing it up. Yeah, security chief. Dream on, hedgehog. Final score for before and after is 8 out of 10. This is poor Kes's last episode centered around her, and it seems to almost mock that fact, given that it shows this long and rich life stretching out before her, only to be curtailed in just a few episodes. It also perfectly sows the seeds for what could have been a great love triangle for her, Torres, and Tom. Indeed, it would have been interesting to put her in the position of seeing the moment when the actual Krenar attack happens, whether or not she'd hesitate in warning Torres to stay away from that console before it explodes. There seemed like so many opportunities that could have come from this. What a waste.
I'm afraid.
I know.
What happened to you? How embarrassing.
Dr. Ross. Please. Dr. Ross. Please.
Don't let this happen to you. What is your destination? Over.
Quebec, the kid.